I love watching movies. More specifically, I love watching movies in a theater. Being in a dark room with a bunch of strangers with our full and undivided attention directed right at the screen is one of the best feelings. And for the past year and a half, that feeling was kind of taken away from me. And it was one of the things I miss the most about pre pandemic life. And lately, I've been able to go back to the theater. And guess what? I still love watching movies there. But even before the pandemic, I noticed a lot less enthusiasm in theaters. People were laughing at jokes less, they were getting excited less, and they weren't even talking about the movie when they were leaving the theater. And at first, I was ready to blame this entirely on the people and say it was their problem and make a video about how angry I was at everybody. But then I took a step back and realized that Hollywood and the theater companies own most of the blame in this scenario. So let's break down the problem with the modern theater experience. The modern theater experience has a lot of problems for the average moviegoer, and the first part is the pre-trailers. I'm sorry, I'm sure Maria Menounos is a great person in real life, but I don't care about Noovie, and I doubt most moviegoers do anyway. If you've gotten to a movie 10 minutes early in the past decade, you know what I'm talking about. Noovie is the pre-movie ad reel they play with bite-sized interviews and 30-second previews of movies that most people are going to see anyway. They only really do it for the blockbusters. You top it off with those really bad-looking augmented reality games that I doubt even work, and you're starting off on a bad foot with the audience. And the pre-trailers naturally lead into the trailers. I'm a sicko that loves trailers. Seriously, I get to the theater early just to make sure that I don't miss anything cool in the trailers. And even I am vexed by how many trailers there are before movies these days. Movies do not need 30 minutes of trailers to be successful. And it's the number one thing I hear people complaining about in the theater when they're talking. There are too many trailers. And not only that, but trailers have gotten worse and worse. These days, Hollywood doesn't trust anyone to love a movie right off the premise, and they have to give you the entire plot step by step. And it keeps me from seeing movies that I probably would have otherwise. The next part is the most confounding component of the experience, in my opinion, the ad for the theater you're already in. So not only do these theater companies have the gall to play like a 30 to 45 second ad of the theater you're already sitting in, but some have the gall to play an ad for the format you're watching the movie in. Really, my local theater has a 3-minute ad for the IMAX theater that I'm already watching the movie in. It's crazy to me because movie theaters already have the most captive audience possible, and lots of people go out of their way to watch movies in the format that they like the most, such as IMAX or Dolby Cinema. So what do these ads even do? I'm genuinely curious. Then it's showtime. The movie starts, and by the time you've wasted your time watching all those pre-trailers, the trailers, and the ad for the theater, you're probably not even gonna want to watch Space Jam: A New Legacy. I know I didn't. So what kind of viewers does this create? This is where we have to talk about the types of people in the theater. First of all is the distracted viewers. And when I say distracted, I mean that when I go to a movie and it's got good jokes or good action sequences or good thrilling sequences, I react in what I consider to be an appropriate way. I laugh, I wince, I lean forward. These are not over-the-top reactions, but they're just, kind of appropriate for the setting. But lately, even movies with good jokes and good action sequences are met with complete silence by the people in the theater. Sometimes I even get self-conscious and stop laughing because I feel like it's weird to be the only one. See, my general rule is that when I go to see a movie, I at least try to enjoy it. I've laughed at jokes that are only kind of funny, and I've even had good theater experiences watching movies that I didn't end up enjoying. Then we have the distracted viewers, and this is the group that makes the least sense to me. Because if you want to scroll through Instagram in the dark room, you can do that at home for free. I would know, I do it every night. But to go out of your way to choose a movie, go to the movie theater, pay for a ticket, and then sit with a bunch of strangers to do that, it's baffling. I especially hate this during horror movies. I've seen people who use their phone the entire movie, and then they get up and say that the movie wasn't scary when they're leaving. And I'm like, you didn't even watch the movie. You wouldn't know. It was scary. In fact, I'm terrified. This type of viewer is the byproduct of the content era. With streaming services like Netflix pumping out movies that are meant to be watched in the background at an alarming rate, people are being taught to view movies more like TikToks. The shortening of the human attention span is really hurtful for moviegoers. And then you've got people like me, who are sitting in a theater the entire time thinking about what they're going to write on Letterboxd, as if it matters what they think about the movie. Yeah, that's right, I'm not innocent. I do this in every movie I go to. Because I feel like there's this weird pressure to have an official opinion on a movie, and that it's going to be make or break with my personal relationships. Lately, I've had to shake myself out of this feeling in the theater and just get back to enjoying the movie. So what can we do to solve these issues? I think that the problem has to be approached by both entities involved, the movie industry and the moviegoers. The bigger of the two entities is obviously the movie industry. This is where sweeping changes can be made that will actually immediately improve the theater experience. First, let's address the issues I mentioned earlier. One, less ads before movies. And sadly, this would mean the death of Noovie, I would say. Programming like Noovie really serves no purpose, and I don't know anyone who enjoys it. Maybe if it involved more in-depth interviews with directors and creatives or good trivia, people might like it, but even then I don't see it being a very enjoyable part of the theater experience. Number two, less trailers. And not only less trailers, but more tailored trailers. I'd say that having 3 trailers that are really focused on the genre of movie or the demographic that you're inside of for a movie are way more important than the amount of trailers. I doubt that the people who went to go see Space Jam: A New Legacy were really interested in the trailer for that goddamn movie Reminiscence. I'm sorry, but that movie haunted me this past summer. I saw that trailer before 8 different movies in the past couple of months. I celebrated the weekend that it came out because I knew I wouldn't have to see that stupid trailer anymore. And it killed any interest I might have had in seeing that movie. And number 3 is a no-brainer. Stop playing ads for the theater format that you're in. I know I'm in IMAX. It's big. Okay? The sound is loud. I get it. Now on to the people. And this is the hardest part of the process because now you have to look in the mirror and think maybe you're the problem. Trust me, I do it every morning and it still hasn't helped. But as moviegoers, we become a bit cynical. We get into this terrible cycle of overhyping trailers, dissecting trailers, reading reviews, reading early reactions. So it's impossible to go into a movie without 100 half-baked ideas in our heads already. We put way too much stock into the thoughts and opinions of others before we've even made it to the theater. And this is why mid-budget movies are dying in this industry. Anything that can't feed into the hype machine is just left up to random chance. So instead of seeing a bunch of movies that might push the envelope, we see $300 million safe bets. The only way to combat this as consumers is to branch out and let Hollywood know that our interests aren't as simple as they think. We need to watch smaller movies, we need to chatter less about trailers on Twitter, and we need to somehow convince Netflix to release more than 3 or 4 quality movies a year. Of course, this could all be sample bias. Maybe I live in an area where people truly don't like movies. Maybe I've had bad crowds. Maybe I'm the weird one for even caring. But let me know what you think. Are theaters still a great way to see movies? Or is the experience really dying? Let me know in the comments down below.